office manager / medical schooling specialist, working at a doctor's office. But those are jobs that need to get done and, may pay well, and we don't know about them, right? When you're in high school, when you're in college, figuring out what to do. So a lot of it came from our background. A couple of the other people in the Caribbean Bar, we're all lawyers, but one of the things growing up, we went to high school here in South Florida. A number of us, some people came and went to college directly from Jamaica or from Haiti or from the Virgin Islands or wherever. And so we didn't have the connections that a lot of people may have. I'm the only lawyer that my friends' parents know because they raised me and I became a lawyer. And so our communities are relatively small. You may have some nurses, but that's really about as far educationally as you go. So our goal is to kind of bring you in, speak to people like Karen here about their background, so you can at least hear a little bit of how to get there, but also just make a connection. It's somebody that I've been to I come here at least quarterly and sometimes a little bit more, and so you can develop relationships with people if you see them over and over again. I want to participate in the icebreaker a little, so in addition to being a member of the Caribbean Bar Association, I am now actually one of the past presidents. So I'm not officially a member of the organization, but I'm not officially on the board or organizational head of the group, but I'm a member and I continue to be involved with things like this. I'm involved in a ton of other things. I'm on a board involving regulation for lawyers for the Florida Bar, so I'm a lawyer. And everybody in the Caribbean Bar are lawyers. We're a group of lawyers, primarily of Caribbean descent or who have some connection with the Caribbean. When I'm not doing Caribbean Bar stuff, I'm employed by Broward County as an assistant county attorney. That's a job that even when I thought about becoming a lawyer, I probably didn't think that thought I was going to be doing like PI or something like that. I couldn't have imagined working in local government as a lawyer, doing kind of the work of government. I do labor and employment, so I represent the county against cases when our employees sue us, for the most part, or also help with our benefits and other insurance stuff. And I represent our transit system and work on projects to get that to make sure that we have buses and forms of transportation in the county. And so, I hope that you'll take advantage of the folks who are here, talking with Karen. I'll just briefly introduce her and have her introduce herself as well. She's a web and graphic designer living in South Florida, and she's the president of Island Design Studios. She specializes in design services and developing websites and marketing solutions for nonprofits, social services, and small businesses. She has a bachelor's degree in multimedia and web design from the Art Institute, and she does a ton of work, I think, with organizations throughout South Florida. So this really fits into your class, into the class here. I will let Karen take over from here.
Thank you.
Look forward to hearing.
All right, thank you. It's kind of strange to hear someone describe you, whether it be my words or not, Thank you. And thank you very much for having me here. Allison tried 4 years ago to get me involved in this, and as I mentioned before, time, schedules, just never worked out. And 3 weeks ago, she popped up in my email. I hadn't talked to her in a very long time, and she's like, "Oh, it's back again. Do you want to do this?" And the first 2 dates she gave me, oh, no way. She came back, she said, "Oh, the 26th." I said, "All right, I'll do it. It's on the calendar. If it's not on the calendar, it's not going to get done." So here I am, and I actually love doing this. I consider myself a teacher, besides doing everything else, because a part of what I do is educating my clients. And as far as the icebreaker goes, I'm going to jump in and start off my talk with this. I really wasn't sure what to expect. I actually thought I was going to speak to a bunch of first-year students, freshmen new to school. I wasn't sure what to expect, so here I am. Right now, in terms of teams, I work with not only clients, I work with other people in related services. So I'm a web designer, I'm a graphic designer, and there are times when I need a developer. Actually, right now, I'm working with a young man who's from India, who happens to be working in Poland for a year. He is a developer, and we've worked on one client in particular for the last year and a half. So when it comes to teamwork, it's really important that not just he and I are on the same page with the client as well, so we address their needs. I am newly elected president of my condo association. In a year from now, you can ask me why I did this, but teamwork is a big part of that. It's a 7-member board, and we're all new at this and learning what we don't know and taking advantage of the things that we do know in terms of our skills and so on that each person comes to the board with. I'm also a member of a Toastmasters group. I joined a little over a year ago now, and I'm the vice president of public relations for my club. And so again, teamwork is a big part of what I do. And as far as me and how I got here, what I was asked to do is talk about my journey, how I got to where I am today, and the challenges that I faced along the way, obstacles that I had to overcome along the way. But before I even do that, I want to know, is everybody here Caribbean? You're all from the Caribbean? Yeah, you have some connection to the Caribbean? No? No? You're the lone one? No, you too? Really? Well, your family. So you don't have any Caribbean connection in your family? Okay. Well, welcome to our world. Well, okay. And I was hoping to hear from your introductions, because I intended to ask this, someone, at least one person in the group who was in the design field, design industry, and I think the hairstylist is probably closest to design, and then I heard technology with Best Buy and Microsoft background.
When I started college, 3 years ago, I was an architect major for 4 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I had an accident that left me bedridden for 10 years, so I couldn't finish that.
Whoa. Well, glad you're here. You can contribute. So awesome. All right. So we're gonna speak some of our own language, creative-wise. Okay. And my journey was not the typical, journey. You go to school as a young person, and then you select a major, and you end up in the job that you want or whatever. It just never worked out that way. I do have a degree in multimedia and web design from the Art Institute, but I didn't start school until I was 32 years old. My son was 8 years old, and I was actually in a totally different career, on a different career path, completely different. I was actually doing well, but my son and his future took precedence over, my career, in my opinion, and I had to do this. I had to do this for us. And imagine a 32-year-old sitting in a classroom learning Photoshop for the first time amongst 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds, and so on. And it was a big, big challenge for me.
How do you think I feel?
Pardon me?
How do you think I feel? I'm going to be 43 next month.
Wow. Well, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And that's why I'm saying this, to let you know that no matter where you are, no matter what you've done, you can actually get to whatever it is that you want to get to. I was in retail for, up until that time, about 15 years at that time. I had moved here from Jamaica in 1985, left all my family, not all my family, my friends, the things that I love dearly. One of the things that I love to do, and I still do it, I've been playing now for 37 years. I'm dating myself, but that's okay. I play field hockey, and I was actually on the Jamaica under 21 team at that time, and we had just played in our first tournament, and as a team, and I had to leave in the middle of the tournament and come here, and I couldn't leave, I couldn't be away from my family, but I wanted to still be there to continue the life that I'd started, didn't know where it was gonna take me. And it was difficult at times, coming here, not knowing anybody, not having any friends. All my friends that I had in Jamaica, I lost. Write letters. I actually found a bunch of letters from one person that actually stuck with me all these years, and she's my best friend now. She's my son's godmother. I'm her son's godmother. She was here for the birth of my son, and and those things add to the difficulty, to the challenges of getting to the things that I wanted to get for me as a young person. I was only 17 years old and didn't know anything. And my family, we had a view of the way things would work that was kind of magical. Karen would come and she would go to school and she'd get her degree and she would go on and do whatever. It didn't work that way. It took, 15 years later for me to get that degree, or 18 years later for me to get that degree. But I'm actually glad that I was on that journey, because I learned a lot, and everything that I did then led me to where I am now. I couldn't get through the challenges that I have to overcome today in dealing with client issues, personality issues on a board, communicating with people of different races, different cultures, understanding their challenges and being able to solve their problems and work with other people in a team. I'm sorry, it's late. So when you talk about being in a team environment, every experience that you've had should actually help you get through whatever challenges that you face within a team, because you may have had a confrontation with someone 5 years prior, and you never know when that same confrontation, that issue may pop up. You may see it in somebody else on your team, in your work environment, in your job, and you'll be able to recognize that it's the same thing that's happening, and you will be able to say, I went through that before, and I can give you some guidance, or I can help without them even knowing that you're helping, just by doing something to kind of help the circumstance. And so I went on. Retail was my first love. It was one of 2 jobs I had as a young person. I had moved to New Jersey in 1987, and I needed a car, so I got a second job in retail, and I just fell in love with it. But it turns out that it was actually in my genes. It's in my blood, Let me step aside here.
We're gonna just.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes.
Teamwork.
So, teamwork.
This group.
Yeah. So, retail was a big part of my family. My mom had her own store in Jamaica, and entrepreneurship was also a part of my DNA. Having my mom have her own store. My father did as well, and they had their own businesses. So it seemed, now that I look back, it may have been a little natural for me to do this. Although I wonder why my other siblings haven't, followed my suit. They think I'm crazy at times because I refuse to go back and work for anybody else. But when I moved back from New Jersey in 1993 and continuing my career in management, retail management, I thought that's what I was going to do. I was going to become a district manager, regional manager, and go on and on and on. But my son, I started thinking, 60 hours a week working for Toys R Us, even outside of the holiday season, it was getting a little difficult. And I had a employee who was going for the Art Institute. And growing up, art was a big part of my life. I loved art. My father tried to encourage me to get into architecture, design and so on. And that was a part of me. I just wanted to do that. And when this kid showed up with his artwork, and I was so inspired by what he was doing, I was like, yeah, this is what I need to do. And then suddenly, everything fell in place. The bills that I owed, they got paid. And then I started seeing ads on TV for the Art Institute. I had a manager give my son a computer, our first computer, and I fell in love. I took the thing apart, had to figure out how it worked. Would sit there, back in the day, you would sit there for 2 hours while an image would load. Yeah, that was me. But I was fascinated by it. I didn't mind the wait. I didn't mind because it was interesting. And so I said, you know what? Let me try. Let me just put my toe in the water and step out there and see what this whole web design thing is about. And I was instantly in. I said, yes, this is what I want to do. Then did that. 3 years at the Art Institute, got my degree, and shortly after that, I decided, you know what, I'm going to start my own business. A fellow student and I started our own company, another company, we called it Creative Theory, back in the 2004. And then personal challenges had me close that business, and here I am again. And along the way, talking about teams, I had to learn. I had to learn to work with people. Retail, you have to learn, you have to work with people. There's nothing like Black Friday at Toys R Us, and you have to open those doors at 4 a.m., 3 a.m., and you have a long line of people out there, and they have to have that toy, or merchandise has to be set, and you have teams of people working. In 2 weeks, our staff would go from, on average, depending on the store I was in, 30 to 50 people to 250 people. And you have to train these people so that you would be on point. And one of my favorite managers, or people that I worked under, she would tell me, Black Friday, if that day went according to plan, our plan, then we knew that the rest of the holiday season was going to be a hit. We're going to meet our numbers, we're going to meet our goals. And sure enough, when we did that, when we followed our plan and we had plan A, plan B in place in case of anything that would pop up, and inevitably there'll always be an issue. We'd run out of some toy and we'd have to get toy from another store, or somebody didn't show up for work on time or didn't show up at all, and we had to be able to fill the gap. We would station toys around the store. You guys, this is behind the scenes of Toys R Us. You would know what was going on. Say you had a stack of Play-Doh, for instance. One year, I never forget, my first year at Toys R Us, my first Christmas, we opened the doors, and of course they nearly crushed us. But this woman went up to the Play-Doh aisle, and she put the shopping cart in front of the shelf, and she just did this, because it was like 25 cents or something like that. It was a ridiculous price of a Play-Doh. And we had mountains of it in the aisles, and that would disappear in no time. But we had to have a plan to restock that shelf and restock that pile when it went away. And it took teamwork for us to be able to do that. And I miss that. I miss that interaction with the people, not just the staff, but also the customers, being able to work out, solve their problems. Because that's essentially what we do every job that we have. We're actually solving somebody's problem. Whether it be a screaming kid or a newborn baby that you want to get a gift for, you're solving a problem. If you're working in, I'm gonna forget who's who now, but in the restaurant industry, you have to get that food out on the table. It has to be hot, it has to be fresh, and cutlery has to be clean, everything has to be working, everybody and everything has to work together. And I heard some of you say, I do this thing, but I don't work in a team, I work by myself. But you know what, you actually do, and you don't realize it. The person, your hairstylist, the vendors that supply your products, you being able to communicate with them and pay your bills and get your stock whenever you want them and things like that, That's actually an extension of your business that you actually, do. You work in Best Buy, Microsoft, Microsoft expert, but you doing that depends on somebody taking the orders so that, if I call up and I say I need help with my computer, they're gonna schedule time with you or whatever, however it works, but you're not by yourself. There's always somebody working behind the scenes. I work for myself, but it doesn't mean that I am alone in all of this, okay? So I'm gonna fast forward, and this opportunity with starting this company, it fell through, like I said, because of family reasons, but during that time, I actually had a client who kept insisting they wanted to hire me full-time, and when this challenge happened with my family, it was a perfect time for me to step away from the business and step into this role of creative director. And here it was now, I have a team of people, and some of them working in-house, and I had another team working virtually. They did research for us on image research. We were a company that developed online courses for high school. So my team in particular, we managed the multimedia portion of the courses. So sometimes in your coursework, you may see, if you do any online classes, you'll probably see, now it's a lot easier these days. This was over 8 years ago now. And you would see maybe a puzzle or a game or a math thing or video or whatever that's embedded in your pages. Those are things that we developed. But it took us having the team who handled the development of the web page, the HTML. It took the team who was developing the actual multimedia pieces to put those components together. It also took the researchers, the image researchers who are working virtually for me to be able to work with them and getting the correct images to be a part of the course, or else, when it went back to the writers for review, it would come back to us and we would have to, make a lot of edits and whatnot. But, all again, teamwork, and we rejoiced when we got courses out, hundreds and hundreds of pages just in history alone, or science, or whatever, or you have a person, I think I remember doing an animation for a caterpillar one time, teaching the kids the parts of the caterpillar and, moving along on the screen, things like that, but to see those things, your work put into a course that serves a bigger purpose is really, really cool, okay? But then, 2 years after I got the bug again, I said, this corporate, because the company was a small company and they got bought by Kaplan University. And then we got sucked into this huge corporate environment, and I said, no, this isn't for me. I need to go back on my own. So now this year is 10 years. Island Design Studio has been in existence for 10 years. And there's been highs and lows and in-betweens, but it's mine. It's mine to say I don't want to do this, or I want to do this. I can take on projects that I want to whenever I want to. I can be as creative as I want to, or my clients will allow me to. It's just been a very fulfilling experience. And over the last 2 or 3 years, my focus has shifted from just general design, or working with companies of wide variety, to narrowing my focus to nonprofit organizations and organizations that I say do good in our communities. I serve people who serve others, and that's my ultimate goal in everything that I do. And I started thinking about this. I was going back in my Rolodex and thinking about, just preparing for this. It brought back so many memories of things that actually I didn't realize then would serve me now, the people that helped me along the way in which they helped me, whether it be a teacher, a professor, or a a fellow student, you know, in class and you need help with something and you get the help that you need, you know, being able to give that back in a different way is essential to anything that you do, and I find myself in that right now. I mean, my connection to the Caribbean Bar Association was through an organization, the Jamaican Women of Florida. I met Allison, who approached me 4 years ago, part of this organization, saying, Karen, would you be interested in doing this? And I was like, yes, I would, you know, and so here I am, you know. So every aspect of your life is based on teamwork. The very vehicle that you drive, one part alone doesn't make your car run, you know. There are pieces that come together to make the engine go, to make the wheels turn, to make the car go in gear, for you to be able to put your foot on the gas and for it to go, you know. So there, you know, everywhere you look, teamwork is a big part of it, okay? So here I am today, and in terms of where Island Design Studio is going, I'm actually going through what we call a rebranding right now, changing the look and feel of the company itself because of the audience that I'm trying to target, you know. When a lot of people who are of non-Caribbean descent, they see Island Design Studio, I don't know, apparently there's something that triggers in them that says, you know, she's only gonna deal with island-related stuff or island-related people and so on, and a lot of my clients are from the Caribbean. I can't deny that. But I'm not losing the name. I was wrecking my brain trying to come up with a new name, and I said, you know what, no, this is who I am. And the reason why I started this is because of my heritage, is because of who I am. So I'm not gonna lose that, but I'm gonna modify the look a bit, so it's more modern, it's cleaner, whatever, and we're gonna launch, hopefully on the 6th of February, a new look and everything. And it requires me actually also talking to other people. There are other designers that I trust that will come to me for help, and I can go to them for help and say, my logo, I've been working on it now for weeks, and do you like this? You know, should I move this over a little bit? And I'll get all kinds of input. David Muir is mentioned in my bio as one of my clients, but David is also one of my best friends now, and mentors. This guy he's a photographer, but he's and I'm sure you know him too. When you talk to David, you don't ask him who he knows, you ask who he doesn't know. That's the kind of guy he is. So sent him the file, and he was actually talking to a client. He was talking to someone on the phone when he got my email, and he put the person on hold, called me and said, you know, hold on, you know, I'm gonna call you back, we need to talk about this, you know? And those are the types of relationships that you need to form in anything and everything that you do in order for you to get where you are. I'm sure I can tell you that, you know, she probably has a line of people that have helped her get where she's at right now. And I mean, her long list of her work, I mean, I was like, wow, you know, I don't feel like I'm doing anything. But it doesn't matter whether you're doing one job or 10 jobs, or you're a part of nonprofit organizations, or you're volunteering, or you're teaching the kids to read, anything at all that you do, it takes teamwork, you know? So I'm gonna actually stop talking and and ask you guys to ask me if you have any questions for me, you know?